Oh, did we determine what the date was?
That's the 26th.
Okay, it is July 26th. This is planning and zoning. We will start with attendance, and I am Mayor Southard.
Brian Wolf. Eric Fisher.
Beth McFarland.
Terry O'Connor.
Tommy Grant.
JP Martin.
And we do have one resident that is here as well.
Lewis Jones.
There we go. All right. So tonight, Brady is actually out. We are currently at the pavilion in the park area. So we are going to do sort of like a field trip, looking at some ideas of things that we may want to do, things that we may not want to do, and just really kind of refreshing green space areas. So we're here. So is there anything you guys want to talk about in this particular area, which we can kind of, and I can move this around, walk over to the playground. I know that there's some interest of maybe some council members looking at some of the playground equipment, if there's certain things that they want to do there. You know, we obviously have that full empty field over on that side. That said, I will tell you, I personally have had people reach out to please leave that alone. I'm not saying that we're going to, and I'm not saying that we're not going to. They love it because the kids are able to come and play football and frisbee and kick soccer balls, and that appears to be an area that kids do tend to have some green space. There's obviously been talk about pickleball, there's been talk about tennis courts, there's been talk about dog shelter or dog play areas, and obviously I think leaving it one of our only last little green spaces. I love the idea of leaving it green, but it's not my decision.
I agree. I think like having that open is
Yeah, I
like a
feel
good idea.
just like, you know, there's nothing more fun than a cardboard box because it's just
Right.
full of possibilities. A field of grass is nothing but possibilities, right? And we don't have another space like that in the village. So I think I would not want to change.
Is that right there?
Yeah, next to the, I mean, it's not it certainly isn't a regulation soccer field, nor is it a regulation
Oh,
anything.
pickleball. People talked about pickleball.
Right.
That was the only thing I thought of next to that note.
And I think that's just it.
So-
What outweighs what is, or are there other places? You know, there's lots of places that people can go for those types of things. Eric learned a very fun fact about pickleball, and maybe I shouldn't blame it just completely on you. There's many articles that have come out with pickleball being really close to residents' homes, because it's almost as annoying as basketball, or probably more annoying than basketball for the residents that are right next to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I recently read that. There's other people like that too. Yeah.
So. Yeah, so there's always pros and cons to stuff like that, but we have a lot of residents that want pickleball.
One thing that I know a lot of residents were talking about, especially with the kids, if we could just leave the trees there, just from wherever our border is, so that's why parents can come over here, hang out in the shade, and visually see their kids playing. Leave all the trees with like the brush, just kind of brush hog that out.
So, fun fact, I actually have a resident, will not point fingers or name names or anything like that, that currently is very upset because we have cleared out some areas for them to work for AEP.
Oh.
And is wanting to know when we're going to start, I'm going to say it, definitely completely upset that we have cleared out anything. And I've explained that it was just being done at this point in time. It doesn't mean we can't do it. I'm just saying there are their personal expectations of what they are hoping this looks like. I'm not in disagreement. I think people would want to sit here and be able to see over there.
We talked about that when we.
So that is a discussion between you guys, and again, all I like to do is make sure you guys see both sides of the coin, because while I also, you know, we've talked about that being other things, they stopped mowing one day because there was something else going on, and I actually had more than one phone call because they thought we weren't mowing that because we were getting ready to do something with it, because they were over here working, so they thought something was going to happen, and I immediately had 2 phone calls that day. Please don't touch that land over there. That is for the kids. Like, the kids actually use it. So, again, these are just things you guys might not know, only because, and again, that was 2 residents. We have 2,000, but I do like to just point those out. I currently have had multiple conversations with this resident, only because this has only been cleared out for AEP to be able to, actually, I should say, for the AEP project to drop electric here. It was cleared out for our electrical company to be able to come and actually do work. And they were very concerned because that they feel like it's an open invitation for kids to run into these guys, like this backyard or that backyard or the Folly backyard. So again,
Is the fence gonna be where those stakes are? What's that, or what is,
Yes.
it is a physical fence?
correct, it's gonna be a 6-foot white vinyl fence. It's gonna be a little decorative at the top, and it's gonna go all the way back to, as far back as we can get it to start. Just again, to try to deter people from cutting through right
Okay,
there.
yeah.
My thought is to get it as far back as we can.
And I think what we're talking, everybody's idea of like the playground would be over here, so it would still like, not going
Further down.
Yeah.
So we can definitely look into that, but I would say there's definitely still some concern
Yeah.
with even that. But again, that's
Isn't most of that like invasive honeysuckle anyway?
and I've even heard there's a ton of like poison ivy in there.
Probably.
Yeah, there's a number of invasives in there.
Yes.
That's one.
So again, that may be something that you clear it out a little bit and you get something else in there, even if it's just wildflower or so. I'm making that up because I'm not the whatever. But something that's a little bit more see-through. I mean, again, it doesn't necessarily have to be that thick, and maybe just to stop people from if there's something there they wouldn't cut through it. It doesn't have to be this. I think there's lots of ideas and options. But that's something, honestly, we would probably just have our maintenance person start at one end and just kind of fulfill what we're thinking. And then whether or not we looked at a landscaping company to come back through and have some sort of a detailed plan of what they would plant, or we could do that first. However, do you guys want to walk over there and look at like the actual,
Sure.
the playground?
I like the way this turned out.
Isn't it?
I like that. It's very airy too.
There is a piece right here that is being repaired by Thursday or Friday.
Oh, okay.
They ordered it.
Oh yeah, I saw that
Yes.
when I took my pictures.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. That's good. So they're
There's a
bringing
piece
that.
missing right here, and it was just, they know. They're coming back out. They actually came back out once, and it was still, they had the wrong thing. I know, I better grab my purse.
Did Monday storm?
Did the mud come in after the rainstorm?
What was it?
The mud.
Yeah.
It must come in from the floor.
Sideways rain.
Oh, it was sideways.
So the whole playground flooded.
Right, and then the water went this way and took some of the dirt in there with it. Gotta keep an eye on that. That may have to be.
Graded a little better.
Yeah.
It was a little bit.
Brian, did you get your roof checked out today? And
Not yet, but we
Yeah.
were considering getting the roof checked
they're
out.
all running around, so that's why I was curious.
Yeah.
I know I haven't seen one yet, but I mean, I've seen them at the office, plenty of them.
Right. Kerrigan's very busy.
So I think one of the things they had talked about is just getting some additional, or not additional swings, but just kind of maybe replacing some of the swings. I don't know
So
if,
swings are old. My very personal and selfish thought is that they don't make swing sets like that anymore. And
Oh, I don't
these,
think
huh?
I don't think they do either.
No. So they all the new swing sets have much shorter chains, and so are way less fun. So
That was the fun part of it.
yeah.
well,
You
yeah.
can get long swings though. I think rec outlets, for example, where I get mine, you can get some long ones.
I don't think I have
I'll
not
measure mine,
seen.
one I have personally. I have a smaller.
Oh,
I have a
you-
shorter swing A-frame for my daughter does it.
Yeah, like in your backyard.
Yeah, but the swing length of the chain, I'll measure it. I think it'll. If I do all the way out, it'll work there. I'll just let you know.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, if we're not compromising on swing length, I think replacing swings for something that isn't terrifyingly old and rusty wouldn't be
Right.
bad.
Yeah, that's what.
It also wouldn't, like, I think these pull-up bars, we could probably look for a more interesting jungle gym kind of a plate
Right.
that might fit in this footprint.
That's a good point.
Because pull-up bars are fine, but you can pull up on anything, right? Like, those are really an exercise bit of equipment and not
Right.
play equipment. I mean, for as much as I love the little horsies, they are also janky.
Do people use them?
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
just
they
curious. Okay.
Oh,
so
they're
people
old.
crush them, but
Yeah,
they're old.
They're old. I mean, we can go look at them. I'm sure the enameling, like,
I want to see Brian get on them.
Oh, I've been on them.
Okay.
I'm not going to do it right now because my back is still a little tender.
Yeah, don't do that then.
But I have been on them. I mean, you can see the yellow one is a
Yeah.
little cockeyed.
The railroad ties around there, I think.
But
Oh, yeah, these are kind of
but yeah, I mean, it's an enamel. All the paint's rubbed off. All the enamel's rubbed off. I mean, it would be great if we could have them refinished, because I love them, but they aren't in great shape. And then my other big thought around here is that all of this turf could be resurfaced, right? The whole thing is
Bring in some dirt.
bring in some
Massive
dirt,
dirt.
have it regraded, plant gooder grass, right? Because
When you say flood, the water sits here a while?
I mean, I'm sure it was gone in an hour or two.
Okay, but
Whenever there's a really big rain, the water comes down Alder Vista and seems to make a turn right into here.
that's hilarious.
And it's been a while, but I've seen it go over the black
Right,
ring around the playset and fill that,
Right.
and then keep on going.
right.
So you used to find after a big rain, there'd be a pile of mulch at the tree line.
Interesting.
Yeah. But that's a whole nother. I mean, those are the things. I mean, if we were actually looking to invest here, putting a better notice board. But
That tree looks a little tired.
oh yeah, that tree dead, nearly dead, mostly dead.
You have to get rid of that too.
Yeah.
Because that's a
This is why we do field trips.
hazard
Right.
to the street.
I would think that the canopy can be trimmed up a little bit, right?
Yeah, you can do a little trimming.
agree,
mean,
too.
It won't be hard to let some view shed through so parents, if they want to sit there and look right across, they can do that without trouble. I mean, if that's what they want to do. That's not invasive or anything. Trees can remain. Leave some ground cover.
But
Rebecca and I were-
if you send Chipper through to
The
Brent
line
Park out
of
of there,
fence.
Uh-huh.
watch out for golf balls, because there will be
Okay.
a million,
Million.
golf balls back in there.
And then have them call my kid because my kid collects them.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, we used to get them in our yard.
Yeah.
So what are you
People
thinking,
chank them
getting
so
rid of
bad
these?
they land in our yard.
He likes these. He even said if we could just get them like
Oh, redone.
redone. He said the kids really do play on them.
Yeah,
Sturdy
it's
and old, but
they are.
My
Just needs tightened down.
sister-in-law
right.
put a couple of them in her front yard. She took them from some
really.
playground, and she's
Oh, they're
well, they
cute.
live out in
They
the country,
they
but
are perfect for like the
The-
3 to 5.
Right. Right.
Right. Where the monkey bars are too big for them,
Uh-huh.
the climbing walls too big for them. Right. When they're just the size to do maybe the slides and the horses, they will use the horses.
Okay. No, I just think that there's some
But
things
we
that
could also, like, if we are looking at playground equipment, and again, I do love the horses, and I think they're historic, but we could look at other similar things that are.
I wonder if
'cause
they
got
have-
spinning cups, and they got.
do they have some that are maybe like, and maybe this is really dumb and maybe plastic like breaks, but is there something between the two? Like, do they get? Again, I don't know.
something that's more of a teeter-totter
Yeah.
kind of thing that kids could
Yeah.
Like a similar type.
bounce back. I know they don't have the teeter-totters like that,
Right.
but they have them on springs where they can
Yeah.
kind of bounce up and down, back and forth.
Yeah, those are good. You know, we should do is we should look at a merry-go-round, like a full-on 1970s style. You know,
Why not?
Put the dirt bike on the thing and spin it around.
there you go.
Yeah.
I don't see anything wrong with that.
Yeah, me neither.
I'm looking for the space for it.
You got some space.
Yeah.
Does anybody else have anything over in this area that they would like to see?
I mean, if we're talking dreams, I think that crabapple tree is stupid.
Well, you could clear out some space and
Yeah.
relocate
So
that.
the crabapple tree is stupid because it's not a good climbing tree.
Right.
It doesn't give any kind of useful shade because it's too low,
It's just in the way.
right? It's just in the way. And
But the deer like the crab apples.
yeah, but the deer don't pay taxes. So I'm mostly here for the people who pay taxes.
But it's, a wildlife feature.
We do have trails that you can go see wildlife features,
Yeah.
which is nice.
I am, yeah.
How long has that tree
I
been
only
there?
say that because I have a
been
crab
as long
apple
as I
tree in my yard.
We saw a deer standing underneath one across the street from me yesterday, and that's what
that
was eating off of
It's
it.
got these nice hanging branches, but all the bottoms of them are all
Oh,
bare.
absolutely.
So you remember the old wooden playset,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
My understanding was the old wooden playset was from the 80s.
Okay.
My guess is that tree's of that same age.
Makes sense.
Probably planted around the same time
Right.
as that playset was around.
That makes sense.
So you would vote for some type of tree that would have like some nice branches.
Yeah, something
Blind
something actually climbable would be super cool. Like, you know, in 10, 15 years, it actually has grown a trunk with some limbs that could be climbed. That would be cool. And while you're at it, actually have a canopy that could have shade. So if you look at the maple that's over there, that's a great tree to have in a playground, right? That lowest limb is low enough that a reasonably sized kid can pull up on it and climb that tree. My kid used to climb that tree. And its canopy is high enough that you can actually get some shade out
Good
of it.
shade, yeah. Yeah. This one's decent too. So.
Yeah. I mean, it's not quite a climber.
No, but
you know.
you got a low branch and you get some shade.
Yeah, exactly. You can get up there. Yeah, that's what but otherwise, that crab, it's a pain in the ass to mow around.
Yeah.
Because it's too low to actually ride the rider around. So now you've got to give a wide berth to it and come back and use a push mower to get it, or not.
No, it makes sense.
Yeah. So that would be another one that I would think would be a good idea, is getting rid of that and replacing it with a better tree.
Yeah, I like the grading in the grass idea too.
Grading, yeah.
Well, the grading we can fix some of that. If we can keep the water going down the street, it'll hit the ravine and go where it's supposed to instead of crossing here and then going across there.
Right.
Right. That can be done too.
You look so pleased.
It's all right. It'll grow back.
Oh yeah, exactly. Okay.
Yeah,
So that's that. And then
I mean, again, if we're just putting things on a list, while there is a bike rack over there for the basketball court,
Getting used.
again, it's getting used. A
Get
bike
another one over
rack
here.
on this side of Alder Vista wouldn't be a bad idea either.
that's actually something we can do now.
Oh, yeah,
Like this week.
It's a good idea.
I'll look into
Because people do bring their kids down.
Absolutely.
With bikes.
Or they want to put
and,
their own man bikes.
you know, I think it's a great habit to, you know, encourage people to use a bike rack.
Right. No, I have absolutely no issue doing that, and that was just one of the things that came up with the basketball court. There's some new signage getting ordered. As you can see, those are a little small. Those were the largest that we could get from the companies, but we are working on getting, some people had requested we get bigger ones. So we're gonna have one at the shelter, and then we're also gonna, and I'm not saying we're gonna take that down by any stretch, but we're gonna add an additional sign, maybe on a different corner, or swap them out to something else. Having two signs is not gonna hurt.
Paint the rules as a list on the whole basketball.
And maybe we could do that too.
Sort of like a Star Wars
Yes, scroll. Yes, that is a
Yeah.
great idea.
How do you feel the seating over here is? Do you see people like see we got the one table and the one set?
Oh yeah, they get used. They absolutely.
I mean,
get
is that
used.
enough for what you see of the crowd that comes over here?
So, you know, it depends on your perspective, right? So at peak usage, no. But should you ever have enough seating for peak usage? Probably not, because that's too much for 60% of the time.
So it wouldn't be the end of the world if we brought over another one. It would just
If we
be.
brought over another, or you know, I almost think that a bench would be better
Okay.
than
Right.
a table, because
that's what that's for.
Yeah.
Because that's what that's
Yeah.
for. And the table, while it gets used, doesn't get used that much.
Okay.
Right.
But eventually people can sit and watch the
But a
kids.
bench, maybe on the
Further
somewhere else or behind the other side of the swing set.
in the shade somewhere.
Somewhere
in the
there.
shade.
Yeah.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
And I guess like if there was like this small lookway over this way, people could be sitting still.
Yeah, like you said.
there,
Yeah,
like
getting
we
it cleared
talked
out.
about before. But yeah, but you can see where the line is right through here. Like I think I would like keep it some type of opening more that way, even though I know
Yeah,
not taking it all the way to the line seems
Yeah.
like it would be
a little better.
I will tell you, I don't think I like the idea of defoliating it in there. Because one, I don't think a parent would actually sit over there
Not with small
and watch their kid over here.
If they were small kids, definitely not.
And most of the kids that play here are small kids.
Right.
Right. And largely because that playground equipment by the time you're 9
It's too
small.
Right.
Right. So
I would agree
so
with that.
it's mostly small kids. I don't think I would ever, in my imagination, see a parent with a kid 8 or younger sitting that far away.
The only time I would think that, and I'm not saying that you're wrong, is if you had like a little birthday party and the kids were running back and forth or something, but
Sure.
half of them
What
could be
you
over
would-
here.
Yeah, what you'd have is you'd have parents over here
On that side.
also watching
Yep.
kids.
Agree.
Parents over there
Agree.
ignoring kids,
Right.
thankful that they have the separation.
Correct.
Right.
That's probably true.
It leaves it more open, and then in this area is much more visible to see what's going on for safety. Like at least from that point, you know what I mean? I think it's better to have that visual. Just leave anything trees wise. If the 6 inches are bigger, leave it. The brush comes out. Parents can have more places to sit. I've heard a lot of residents talk about all they wanted was to be able to sit over here, hang out, and then look at their kids. So I've heard differently.
I don't doubt that people want that.
Very much.
I 100% doubt that people will actually use it that way.
Maybe so.
And in the
How about let it grow back?
Right.
Yeah, well, yeah, we could always spend the money and
Go
let it
halfway,
undo
go
itself
make a
naturally.
little pathway, make it just a
That's the nice thing about
throughway.
this. Plus,
And then
Right. And that's kind of what we started. We thought about doing like right in here too. Then you wouldn't have to go all the way around. Yeah.
But yeah, see, I think through here though does place it too closer to
Yeah.
the houses that I think if there was a way of having it
Over in that.
slightly over, I think would help keep the residents here happier.
And that seems to be a natural one. I don't know that we did that. I have a feeling
Yeah.
that's what people were already doing.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean as far as walking?
Yeah, because that's not what we cut in. It's down there.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I feel like that's, and it could be the deer. Yeah, we did not do this. This was natural.
Yeah, like leave it and see how it organically.
I see a bear squat.
I believe it's a deer trail, but I won't go for a bear.
But yeah, I think there's all different, you know, even if you just cut it a little
I mean,
bit.
this isn't hard. A lot of this is vines. A lot of it is noxious.
Uh huh.
I mean, it would help the trees actually to clear out some of this.
Right, right.
Ivy. Right, right.
Hello!
Are your voice clear?
Oh, I know. All the way around. We're just
Late or early?
so
Where did you
it was
find the parade?
post. It was post. Don't even ask. You probably weren't on the email this morning. It was posted at 6:30, but it was posted somewhere else at 7. But the main posts were at 6:30, so it was 6:30.
Okay.
So you're not late because it was posted 2 different times.
Right. I haven't been online checking things, to be honest.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, this one.
So we just kind of talked about just some of the green space over there, the fence that's going in here, and just some of the park stuff that we pretty much expect this to be pretty simple.
I don't know if there's anything else, Mayor. There's a good little.
So, I mean, I think as far as that goes, this was the main reason for Brady's thought of a field trip over here. I think part of the thought was each time that we meet, if we don't have something specific that we need to be in an office for while we're still in the summer months, is maybe to meet at a different area. This one was just fun because this is brand new. But meeting in different areas over by different lakes or even at the pool or anything like that, just to kind of get some ideas of what types of things, just kind of an overview again of where we're at, what we're doing, what we did, some of the things that we thought we were going to do that we didn't do we still want to do those things? I know JP had asked earlier about, or we were talking about, and I talked to Eric a little bit about this. Again, we have talked about pickleball more times than we can imagine, but we have also talked about Frisbee golf multiple times. I think this group can, a lot of you guys are newer, so I don't think there's anything wrong with talking about it again. That's probably going to be more over in some of the areas that way. I don't think there would be any space over here to be able to implement something like that. There was
Over there was a nice opening that that hill, like if you started on that hill and then threw it down this way.
So the maintenance garage is intended to be going right over there
Yeah.
in that particular area, so I don't know if you would want that in that, and I don't know if you guys knew that, but that is the goal, is the maintenance garage to be over in that particular area.
For disc golf, I think you want more than one, right?
Need a few.
You want
9.
at least 9, I would think. I'm not actually a disc golf player, but I mean, understanding that golf is golf, and whether you're following a little ball or a disc, right? Like it's usually 9 or 18.
We had originally talked to Westerville schools about it. This again is going back way months, middle, when they were building the school. Part of the issue with that is we wouldn't be able to utilize it when the school is in session or open. So that would be strictly that you would only be able to use those particular holes after hours, weekends,
Or weekends, yeah, holidays.
something like that. Summer.
I don't need that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so, but,
We figured, we did a preliminary back then, we thought we could get 2 or 3 holes based on their property design
Yeah.
and stuff, and they were fine with it. In fact, we thought they were gonna pay for it, then when they looked at their budget, they said no. But they're not against it, so someone's gonna have to pay for it, it won't be the school district at that point.
So like my idea was like the vision was this whole neighborhood. This was like the coming attraction was all back here was Minerva Park Golf Course. It wasn't the best golf course, but it was always the most known because it's one of the most beautiful golf courses in Columbus, Ohio. It was an attraction. People come here, people go to the pool. So what way to pay homage to Minerva Park, yet bring people here, right? And then maybe want to spend money at the pool. Then having like a free frisbee golf course, and this is where I kind of want Lewis to kind of show his vision to you guys, because his ideas were really great. And if you want to take it over, Lewis, kind of a quick crash course of your idea, your vision. That's okay. But that's okay.
I don't care, have you guys got,
If one of you, so it's cool from a rule standpoint, if someone wants just to yield to the guest.
okay.
Sure.
May I yield?
Yeah.
We yield to Lewis, to tell us what he's got to say.
Okay, so I have been walking through the pathways and I have kind of created a design that would create a disc golf course in the neighborhood that kind of essentially follows along the walking pathway starting from here all the way down there, and also being mindful of not being super destructive of too much green space, because green space equals protection for homes, green space equals cancellation of noise, all these things.
Trying to integrate with the system, basically.
Yes. Also, from all the available spaces, it is possible to put, a full course in if you wanted to, or also even a 9-hole. The grand scheme idea would kind of start here, and again carving out spaces that are out of the way of the playground, out of the way out of people's yards, and mostly out of sight, essentially, because you would be throwing through things, around things in a way that's not too destructive, besides moving some greenery, some brush, never destroying a single mature tree. We do not have to do that to create that kind of course all throughout. Back to big scale, starting from here, loops all the way down through the underpass and the walking path, and would actually come back through this way, if that is usable space. I have ideas upon that, and I just kind of wanted to throw the idea out there to see if it's possible, because I don't know what is usable or planned to be used or not.
do you have
So we
something
can
that's
send,
like on a
we can, yeah, I
map,
was gonna say,
like
we can
drawn?
send,
Yes.
you have it with you?
Yes.
Oh,
I was
even
gonna
better.
say, if not, send
Really
it.
cool.
We can send you some of our maps and you can draw on them. Because that has topo and stuff on it too.
So golf was obviously a very popular sport. Now frisbee golf seems to be kind of being very more popular. Lewis knows some of the professional players that could help kind of design. Obviously I don't want to say free labor, but
No. Yeah.
but help, I guess, in making. There's only 4 frisbee golf courses in Columbus that are pretty cool on this side of town, if I'm not mistaken. something like
Hoover's
that.
the one I know of.
Hoover.
We're next door to Hoover and Linden, which are two of the most popular in
Yeah.
Columbus. Brent Hamburg Memorial Hoover Dam is the most popular in Columbus.
But if we see this vision through and it becomes one of the most popular courses in Columbus, this means this neighborhood will be popular and people will come here and maybe want to cool off and go to the pool, food trucks, figuring out ways to generate revenue in the neighborhood by simply allowing people to do something like frisbee golf. I don't know, and paying homage. That was kind of like our vision behind that whole idea process.
It's been something that's been talked
Yeah.
about, that's kind of, when you brought that up, I was like, well, it's not, this is definitely where we would start talking about it again, because it's something that, this is where the visions typically do start. And then once we get an idea of where and how and all that kind of stuff, we can take it to council and see, if we have the funds for it, if we,
How to implement it over time.
yeah, and how we would implement it.
I would recommend if we had so much heartache over a roof and 6 posts, or not 6. 8
There's
posts.
8, I know, I misspoke and said 6, I think, in the meeting.
Yeah, it's all right. A roof and 8 posts, I think we probably need public input as well.
Right. Yeah,
So,
it's
but
larger.
yeah, trust me, I'm the one that had this headache, so I'm with you. So if we could get like the map and stuff like that, we can kind of talk with them. And then the other thing that we could do is on the next meeting when we come, and especially having Brady here since it's kind of like a big part to that, on next month's, maybe we could actually go walk it what you were thinking, and then stop at a couple different places. Not to make this meeting a little shorter than usual, but with Brady not being here also, it would be, unless somebody has something else, I don't wanna cut it short for anybody.
Actually, I can run if that's okay.
Yeah.
The only thing I'd like to, you talked about, like, you guys said there was like a green space, like, plan that was made before.
There was an old one we want to send around again?
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know, that keeps, that's been talked about, so I think incorporation of having that
Absolutely.
with the
Absolutely.
vision of the Frisbee golf,
Right.
whether those two things could be incorporated together.
We'll do that,
Yeah.
we'll send it around.
And I think
And a lot of it was just like hill, sledding hill and things like that, which honestly I don't think we're gonna move forward. I mean, okay, at this point in time, I don't see a big thing for that with. So there were some things like that were on there. We've implemented most everything else that was on that map. There's a couple little tweaks of things that maybe didn't. Like this was one of the main things. Some things were done.
Cause I thought there was some talk about like, just how to get some of the greenery.
So
or
initially,
whatnot.
yeah,
Yes,
so we paid a consultant to give us a preliminary plan, which is documented, send that around. And then we put together a map, which, you know, you'd have to go back to meeting minutes to kind of narrate, but essentially the map, I'll send that around to you.
She has it.
Yes, so that's a copy of it there.
Yeah, this isn't the whole thing, this is
Yeah, we
only.
can, it's on electronic side.
Yeah,
maybe
okay.
not. That way everybody's got a copy of it. And then if, I'll send him some topo and some plans, and then you can redraw on that, or, you know, you can get that printed out for you on a larger scale or something like that.
I also have sketches.
Happy to see, happy to look at sketches while we're here.
Take a look at it.
Yeah.
Does while he's grabbing those, does anybody have anything else for, tonight's meeting? Does anybody wanna talk about dates for the next one while we're all here? I know Brady's not here, so I hate to do that, but let's see if we can all put together an August date. And then we'll clear it with him.
Don't we have just a regular standing,
I believe it's
We have
the
standings
meeting,
first Wednesday and third
Yes.
Wednesday are the standing meetings.
so what is the first Wednesday?
is next Wednesday.
Right, we won't be having a meeting next Wednesday.
September is the 6th.
So it would be the third one, which I will be moving my son into.
Oh.
So it may not be.
Yeah, the
You see?
16th is. Oh, sorry. I was thinking that was.
Yeah, and we can move it off a week.
So they don't wanna do this.
And that's like going down by the dam, kind of like.
Yeah,
When's the?
yeah, it would be good to have these in the greater context, just to.
right, on the larger map. But I like the sketches.
Yeah,
Put some good
very
work
good.
into it, and this is helpful.
Very
Like,
well thought
we'll
out.
have to get we'll have to get you to bring this in, and we can photocopy it at our expense, you know, in our copier, which is no problem, scan them in, which I'd like to do.
And the whole idea behind it is to not be destructive towards anything that's already going on. We wouldn't have to mow anything down to have this be an option.
Right.
It's essentially just clear space to have landing places for.
Right. It doesn't require a lot of maintenance. I like it. We talked about it extensively, and we were hoping it just didn't gain any major legs because it's just an added cost. But we were hoping to have a few in because our costs were the same as a nice homage. Yeah. As a nice homage to
16th August.
It's over there. You can narrate it. As a nice homage, as JP said, we thought it was a good idea too at the time of the creation of it.
16th of August.
And that sets us up too for the future, like Upper River Park.
The next one's the
and other awesome
23rd.
things. Especially if this is becoming so
16th
popular.
actually I can make. Sorry, go
The
ahead.
Especially if this
16th
is
is
becoming so
the
popular. And,
non-council.
you know, like most of the Frisbee golfers are very consciousness of their surroundings. They
Right.
pick up trash as they go along. They're
Right.
not very, just disruptive or anything like that. So that's a definite benefit.
Are you
as
good
a
with the
neighborhood.
I think a good field trip, future field trip after we discuss
And
it
then,
to
do
go
you
to
guys wanna do
Hoover
6:30
or
again,
the
since
other
we'll
one,
meet
have
somewhere?
the
I would
group.
Sure.
like
Okay.
you
to see it.
Lewis almost a half an hour.
We're gonna
whatever
make
he
it
needs to
6:30.
show us
Right.
the vision because it's.
Assuming he's good
We
with that.
spent a lot of time yesterday going around the whole neighborhood and it was, I liked it a lot.
Right, I think it's
And
like what I see so far.
And as I said earlier, I'm not sure what land is available or what is to not be touched or what
Right.
can be touched. However, I've gotten in contact with Brad Schick, who is a local professional disc golfer. He actually plays on tour, but he lives here in Columbus.
Okay.
I reached out to him. He's offered to give me his expertise if this gets up and running. So he has helped design at least 3 different courses around Columbus. And he also travels nationally to play the tour. So he is an excellent resource to reach out to.
That's awesome.
If we can get our foot in the door,
Uh-huh.
take advantage of that, it would behoove the neighborhood very much, I think.
Okay, so a quick pause. We are going to tentatively, August 16th, 6:30. Do you guys want to meet here knowing that we're going to be taking a field trip walking, or do you guys want to meet somewhere else? Because my thought is, if we start down in here and then we actually go, unless Brady has a different, let's meet here, tentatively, and then if it's different, we'll say, but it's 6:30, the 16th, we'll verify that with Brady. Worst case, we would move it to the 23rd, potentially.
I had a question about the green space plan. Have we, and I'm just throwing it out there, that maybe making it public, like, hey, here's what the green space plan is, and getting feedback from people just to solicit it? Just
At this point, everything's pretty much done. Yeah, there's not.
It's not a formally accepted plan by council.
Correct.
It was a bunch of recommendations by P&Z up to council and the mayor, and so things have been implemented through budgeting.
I think it needs updating before
Right, but I just mean.
I believe so. I think
It's
that.
been on the website before,
Right,
it's
right.
been
Right.
discussed in public meetings,
It's been
all of
discussed.
those things. So it has been shared out. I wouldn't say we need to share that out because
It's not.
6 years old.
Well, I also feel like, and that maybe this is how I'm going to say that. I feel like there's nothing on there that we're currently working on. I feel like it's either done or we've decided not to do it.
I don't know, I'm just.
Yeah. Oh no, it does. I mean, like I said, the only big things, there was like a sledding hill that we really didn't have much interest in. This was something that was on there. The lily pond was something that was on there, which has pretty much been done. There are different things like that I don't feel like there's anything really that was on there that we had talked about doing like a little things that, again, they've either been done or they've just kind of been, there's not a disc golf, there's not anything like that on there. So I think now it's just more about fresh ideas.
The last major thing.
Yes.
The biggest one from the.
So I think at this point, it's almost like and I feel like that's why we're here, is we're almost redoing,
Yeah, we're ready to.
which you guys can all see where we were, and these were things we've talked about, but this is kind of like a start fresh. This really is a new group, other than Brian and myself and Eric, nobody's the same. So it's almost like, okay, what do you guys want to see at this point?
You're a new person every day you wake up.
I am a new person every day. All right, do you want to,
Move to adjourn.
Seconded.
all those in favor?
Aye.